Alright, so now I'm going to talk about Type 5 and Introverted Thinking, the Enneagram Type 5 and Introverted Thinking in MBTI. Start with the name first, the investigator. Once again, this is Personality Hacker's version of MBTI. The investigator versus accuracy. And the investigator, they don't really expand upon the name with the Enneagram Institute. They flesh out the concept of a Type 5. But with accuracy, they're talking about a question of what makes sense. They're talking about the process of defragging your mind for bad information and bad code or incorrect scripts. For accuracy, does this add up? Is this true? This is more true than not true, right? So investigator, that's a lot of how they describe introverted thinking is like just rooting out information, which is that's investigation. That's what investigation is. So there's that point. Intense, cerebral. Intense, that's kind of fuzzy, right? Because FI should be intense too, right? Or sorry, type 4 would be intense as, emotionally intense, but they're just saying intense in general as type 5 at the Enneagram Institute. Perceptive, innovative, secretive, and isolated, those are pretty introverted terms, so I think that's not too far off for at least an introverted function. 5s are alert, soft hit on alert. Insightful, sure, because you're thinking about things and trying to figure things out. And curious, yeah, definitely curious, because what that is essentially wanting to understand things is curiosity. That's the whole thing that Personality Hacker describes TI as being concerned with, is trying to figure stuff out, systems, things, as opposed to maybe people, which might be more FI. They're able to concentrate and focus on developing complex ideas and skills. I think that's right, almost straight out of the book, the Personality Hacker book on TI. It's complex, like focus, and something along those lines, developing skills and mastery, which is kind of general, but it's the same type of thing. They're talking about ideas and skills as opposed to maybe an artistic mastery, but independent, innovative, and inventive. They can also become preoccupied with their thoughts, what they're thinking, and imaginary constructs. I would say the imaginary constructs maps more onto the idea of intuition and typology. But the other thing to clarify here is that I don't think this is like I'm obviously not saying that this profile is exactly like a Type 5 Enneagram Institute profile is the exact same as a Personality Hacker Introverted Thinking profile or description, because I don't think they're entirely dialed in yet. I think they're both separate systems that are both describing the same fundamental reality, but neither of them are there yet. So they're not going to be a complete one-to-one. But I think that they're looking at the same thing. This is the part that does not add up as well. Basic fear, I feel like that's a bit off for Type 5, being introverted thinking. Well, I mean, I would say introverted thinking in the sense of, as it's understood by Personality Hacker, but not necessarily as I understand it, because I can definitely see this for introverted thinking. So they say the basic fear of Type 5 Enneagram Institute is being useless, helpless, or incapable, which is like kind of a self-development thing, which I talk about a lot with introverted judging in general. To be capable and competent themselves, right? I want to be this certain way, JI, as opposed to I want my environment or other people to be this certain way, which would be JE. That's how I talk about it now. I haven't made a video on that, but I might later. Key motivations is very, very interesting, because to possess knowledge, to understand the environment, to have everything figured out. That's like an OPS nod. That is a way of defending the self from threats from the environment. That's more of an invulnerability fixation, Personality Hacker-wise, which would be the introverted perceiving functions, but they want to possess knowledge, understand the environment, have everything figured out as a way of defending the self from threats from the environment. Possessing knowledge, that really is fairly spot on Personality Hacker, Introverted Thinking. Understanding the environment. And this is kind of a shortfall of the Enneagram, if I had to say, because why is this, like, where does the environment come from? Where does that emerge from the description of the parts of Type 5? Why is there focus on the environment as opposed to the individual? That's also kind of slightly in conflict with the basic fear and desires, because those key motivations match up. And this is why when I was looking at the Enneagram earlier, in my life, I was just like, this stuff doesn't make sense. TI, maybe. Introverted thinking, maybe. Personality hacker wise, doesn't make sense. But yeah. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to go all the way through the profile, because I don't think people are going to watch for that long. But yeah, it's type 5. Essentially, you're looking at a type that's, concerned with information, that's concerned with knowledge, concerned with understanding things and figuring things out, and knowledge. Already said knowledge, but then you have TI, personality hacker, which is concerned with understanding things, figuring things out, knowledge, truth, figuring stuff out. That's why I think those two are pretty similar, and I guess next video will be type 6.